Hey everyone. So I want to start with a quote that I heard from Silicon Valley recently, which really hits home to what it is I'd like to talk to you about today. And basically says, take the sludgiest, oldest, slowest moving industry you can find and build amazing software for it. So I think it's something that we can all agree on. That, if we were to do something like that, I think the first industry that people probably come to mind is banking. And so with banking, I wanted to talk to you about something what's wrong with banking pretty much. And currently, banking is all about product-oriented. It's a product-oriented business. And what it means is that basically you're given a choice or a menu of things to choose from. And pretty much every bank around the world gives you the same thing. Everyone knows it. Everyone doesn't really think there's anything you can do about it. And this is basically the reality we're all served. So the problem is pretty much you've got a bunch of banks that are pretty much running currencies around the world who sit in their boardrooms and look at their pie charts and think about how they're going to make as much money as they can at the end of the year. They then go to the big boards upstairs at the top of the buildings and tell them this is what we need to get done. Are you okay with this? And if they're all fine with it, we then get told at the end of it. And we have to look at it, basically swallow it and like it. So the purpose of me here today is what if we can change that? What if we can change the model? What if we can make it so that instead of you being told what it is you have on offer from a bank, what if you were to tell the bank exactly what you're looking for? So what if you were to tell the guys upstairs exactly what you wanted? They then applied the charts to it. They then all discussed it, and they basically gave you exactly what you wanted. The premise sounds quite amazing at this stage, but I think most of the people that find this harder to believe than anyone else are the people who would benefit from this the most, and those are the people from this kind of age group, between the ages of 17 and 35. A lot of people are trying to do this already. One of the people, or one of the kinds of markets that people are trying to hit on are sort of newspapers online that basically give you everything the bank has to offer and basically compares it for you. Other people kind of replicate the same idea and just apply it in different regions around the world. Other people try and take a different approach and try and make it a bit more mobile. So they, for example, numbers in this case, who are still in beta, are trying to get all the banking apps in the world to become obsolete, the ones that you get on your mobile, and allow you to connect all your banking accounts into one mobile app. And of course, I think a lot of people have heard of Mint already, and what Mint does is basically takes all the numbers that you have in your life and make them look pretty. A lot of these companies have great ideas starting off, but at the end of the day, they do have a fatal flaw, and that is that you end up managing them rather than them managing you. The main premise here is to try and figure out a way where something is not as invasive as it should be when it comes to managing your money, but just enough for you to be able to know when you're going off. And I think that's what we're presenting today. This is the first time this company's been out, Bridg. So without further ado, I'd like to play something. At the moment, Bridg is something that's pretty much what you see on the screen is basically what it is. But the basic premise about Bridg is very, very simple. It's goal-oriented banking instead of product-oriented banking. And that means one of many things that I will continue to discuss within this presentation. But the great thing about Bridg is that it is an app that allows you to set up financial goals and basically gives you steps and methods for you to be able to achieve them. And it's constantly live and it's always changing based on the exact specific goal you are trying to achieve. It's completely mobile, it's always in your pocket. And the great thing about this are three main key points here. One is clarity, and the basic part about clarity is that it's basically 2 steps to set up Bridg for you to set up your own financial goal. The second part is ease of use, and the basic premise behind that is that Bridg basically acts as your pocket meter, if you will. So if you wanted to know exactly how much you can spend in any given month to achieve your goal, all Bridg has to do is pretty much visualize it for you in a really simple way. And what that does is it basically allows you to exactly input exactly how much you can spend at any given time within a month. And it's all set towards your specific goal. So Bridg is always calculating exactly how much you've spent, how much you have left to spend. The predictability aspect is a proprietary technology that we are currently coding on and working with a couple of people in New York who have had a lot of experience working with banking products. And the great thing about the predictability aspect is that, amongst other things, what it's going to try and do is basically grab all your banking data, not just from being able to access your bank account online, but it'll also be able to do that through your inbox or your SMSs that actually appear on your phone. But it'll also obviously allow you to input your information on many different manual entry levels as well. So how does this fit into the banks? Okay, so I'm pretty much running out of time here. But okay. So the idea is that Bridg connects you and aligns a specific product to a specific person.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. for the inspiring presentation.
I have a question here. Fantastic presentation.
Thank you.
Are you aware of the challenges of integrating your app to Bridg? And I've seen that you've said that you've signed 3 MOUs, but pretty much the first thing I think is that I wouldn't want to input information. I'd rather have this information updated and pulled.
Which is yeah.
So I mean, very quick question. Can I connect my MBAD account to this?
Yes.
So this is basically a personal finance app. It seems like it, right?
To a certain degree, it starts off as that anyway.
So my 2 questions are integration. Do you have anything that's getting ready in that sense? And the second thing is, how are you different from Mint or SigFig?
Yeah.
All these personal
If I had time,
finance apps. Yeah.
definitely. If I had time, I would definitely clarify that. So, how do you integrate? That's a really good question. Basically,
not how. Is it possible?
They will let you integrate because at the end of the day, they're giving you the information that you've asked to be given to. So you've asked for them to email you whenever you have a transaction. You've asked them to SMS you whenever you get a transaction. What you do with that information on your phone is entirely up to you. Granted, we use banking encrypted security in our app, and any transactions that actually are taken from you are only saved on your phone and not on our servers. We still manage to grab that directly from your phone. All you have to do is tell us where they are once, and then that's it. That's all it takes. So that's how we grab info from you. That's the worst case scenario. Best case scenario is obviously what Mint does, which is sign in via Mint, which is obviously not available currently in the Middle East, but is available in some places in Asia at the moment. Second thing is, how are we different from Mint, Intuit, all those other guys? Currently, what they do is they visualize. That's all they do. They visualize what you have going for you. So they show you everything you have, and they set it up in a way that it's supposed to make sense for you. Everyone that uses Mint currently, especially in the US, this is actual data that we've gathered from people in New York specifically, and they've said that when you start out really good with Mint, and it turns out that, wow, I've never seen my data so well put together, but once you ask it anything more, you end up having to go and constantly double check what Mint is doing, for example. So you always have to keep checking on what it is, what it's done to your last thing. Has it accidentally put it in here or has accidentally thought that it's a tax return when in reality it's gone into something else. So at the end of the day, that's all they're doing. What Bridg is going to do is actually allowing you to set up a goal from the get-go. So everyone has a goal, even if it's, I want to have 2,000 dirhams at the end of the month that I can use for something, or I'd like to buy a house in the Hamptons in 30 years. Any of those goals are applicable with Bridg, and if you end up putting in something like that within Bridg, it then begins to calculate from day one, from the minute you start using it, and how much and how long it's going to take you to do it, and constantly give you tips. Mint is not invasive, so Bridg is not invasive. It won't be popping up constantly and saying, hey, you haven't talked to me in a while, or hey, you haven't been looking at me for a while. The only time Bridg will ever bother you is if you actually crossed above the green or the orange or the red. It just gives you a heads up.
Okay, so let's try another question.
How do you import your data bank? I mean, how you define your cash position within the banks? You said you can connect your bank account to the application. Yes?
Yeah, I just explained, you can't actually physically connect as in sign in like Mint does in North America.
In terms of data information, I want to know how much money I have today in my account with the ENBD.
You want to know how much money you have in the NBD, how
How
can
do
I
I
get?
have this information in your application?
Okay, so what Mint does is it allows you to sign in.
Bridg.
No, I'm talking about Mint now. What Mint does in North America is it allows you to sign in, so actually put in your Emirates NBD online details within Mint, and then it would show you everything. It would grab the data on its own. They have an agreement in North America, it's a lot easier to do. In this part of the world, it's not there yet. So what we will be able to do is not get your complete banking history all together from day one, but we will be able to begin building an image of who you are by grabbing the SMSs and emails you get whenever you make a transaction or whenever you get your e-statement from your bank. That will then be grabbed from your mobile phone or from your email.
But sometimes you have some fees, some bank fees on the account that they are not sent by email, by SMS or by emails.
Right, bank fees in what sense?
The interest, for example, interest allocation of the account.
When you get your credit card bills, it will normally be giving you the final amount at the end of the bill. They won't,
You have the credit card bills?
yes,
How you get it?
e-credit card bill, so I get an e-statement.
Okay, we're out of questions. If anyone has a question, you can ask them outside.
Thank you.
Thank you.